Hey guys, this is just a quick impromptu broadcast. Just got home from Black Adam. Actually, got home about a half hour ago after getting some food. I just want to give you a quick review, and we'll go into a much more detailed one on our normal live show to actually this morning or this evening at 6:30 p.m. Saw Black Adam tonight. Had a lot of fun. Is it a perfect movie? No, but it's a lot of fun. It is a fun ride, and it's been a long time since I have been able to go into a movie that's just action and violence and just superhero comic book action. There's the bad about it. I'll get to the bad right off the bat. The kid was annoying. I understand what some of my viewers who I sent yesterday thought about that. The villain was weak. The final villain was weak. The build up to him was weak, and his presence there, to be honest with you, wasn't really needed other than a vessel to carry on the conflict. This movie doesn't have a lot of character development, but it doesn't really need it. At no point in time did I feel when I was watching this movie that this was the end all be all of the story that he was telling. I got the feeling that each one of these characters were being put in place and put on the screen for things down the line, and that all we were really seeing there was the development of Black Adam himself. I thought Dwayne Johnson did a very, very strong performance. This was not a case, in my opinion, of him just being The Rock and putting on a costume and just acting as himself. I actually thought he went into depth with his character, especially when he was speaking in Egyptian for certain lines. The Justice Society was great. Once again, I wish there were more of them, but I understand that they're basically being put on the screen for future things. I mean, I just got the feeling that this movie was a building block for a lot of people who are just going to want a complete, in-depth, long, standalone movie. Maybe this isn't for you, but it definitely left me with a sense of wonderment for what's coming next. The post-credit scene, a lot of you guys already know who comes in. I won't ruin that for you for some of you guys who may have been in a cave for this weekend. But the audience that I was with exploded with that with the reaction of once that particular person came down. But once again, it was fun. It checked all the boxes that I came in for. Not every movie for me needed to be Blade Runner 2049 or Godfather Part 2. It is a solid superhero movie. The CGI I thought was great. The action was great. There really wasn't a weak act. A lot of comic movies I go to, the third act is the strongest act. But Black Adam kind of starts out in references to effects, visual effects, cinematography. It starts out and it's strong all the way through. I really like the score. I hadn't heard a lot of the score prior to going to the movie, and I know that it had been available everywhere from Water Tower, but I really enjoyed the score. I thought the score fit almost every scene. There are some brutal kills in here. Like I said, they just barely escaped a R rating, but yeah, he kills people in brutal ways. I hear there is a much more brutal version, possibly an R version. But like I said, just getting him on the screen and getting the Justice Society out there, getting some of these supporting characters out there, even though they are not in the movie as much as some people may like it, maybe myself. It's only a 2 hour and 4 minute movie. And I just got the feeling that this was an introductory movie to kind of build on. I had a lot of fun. Everyone I sent to our pre-screening last night had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with this movie just for what it was. I would recommend seeing it. I out of 5, I gave it a solid 4. It's definitely rewatchable, and there are Easter eggs in there that I'm pretty sure I missed. But like I said, if you the only other thing I didn't I kind of bugged me just a little bit, but not enough to mess up the movie, was like the slow motion. And I know a lot of directors are using it. I think if you use that slow motion sparingly and with precision, it's a really cool effect. I thought they might have used just a little bit too much here, but no, it was strong performances for all around. I don't think there was like I said, other than the kid and the very weak enemy and the basis of conflict outside of the Justice Society going up against Black Adam, that was missing. But once again, the entire movie acts like is a vehicle to deliver The Rock's performance, and I thought he did a very strong performance. It is definitely a Black Adam movie. I'd like to see more of these characters, and I think that's what they're going to give us. But I had a lot of fun. Like I said, this is an impromptu live stream. It's only going to last about 3 or 4 more minutes, but I'll answer some real quick questions here before we go. Yeah, I was gonna just straight up record it, but StreamYard was not cooperating, so I went ahead and just did a live stream and deleted the other one. So, like I said, I was gonna do this out of the theater, but I was hungry and I went and got something to eat. So, hey, Choppy, how you doing? Stayed. Like I said, this is a real live stream. I'd have you on here, but yeah, it was. This is just letting you guys know real quick. We'll go into depth tomorrow. What I thought about it when on the Sci-Fi Center Live at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time, and then we'll go. There's some really stronger points. There's some things that they could have done better, but for what it was, and I always when we got out of the movie, we just realized that a lot of weight has been put on Black Adam to save the DCEU. It's just a movie to go see and have fun. And then it does lay the groundwork for things going forward, but it doesn't all happen in this movie. If you liked a certain character in it that I felt, there's certain, ones I liked more than others, and you didn't think they got enough time, you just got the sense that this is the first step of something. So I had a lot of fun with it. Like I said, it's just been a long time since I could just go to the movie and just go watch things get blown up. People get their asses beat. People get literally torn apart. I always speak about the 3Ds, death, dismemberment, and destruction. They're all in this movie in abundance. So it is a very violent movie, but like I said, it was a lot of fun. There was a lot of really wow moments that, and it's fun seeing it in a full theater. I saw it in a packed house, and the responses augmented the actual action on the screen for me. So like I said, I had a lot of fun. Not a perfect movie by any means, but I wasn't. Listen, if I go into every movie looking for a Blade Runner 2049 or Godfather Part 2, I'm going to fall flat about 90% of the time. This is a good, solid, fun movie to go see with your friends. And if you're a comic book geek, you're going to like it. So that's my opinion. All right. So, like I said, I gave it a 4, a solid 4 out of 5. Hey, Anthony, Down Under is probably day-to-day time. Yeah, like I said, I know the Rotten Tomato scores. Every person that I sent, and I make it a point to send 3 different tiers of people. I send mostly normal folks that aren't associated with the lore, and then I send people that I know that are around me that are specifically usually anti-DCU fans, because I want that cross section, and then the regular people are just the normal top tier geeks like myself. So we sent all 3 of those people to me, and we were in communication with them after the screening last night, and then beyond. I haven't gotten an earth-shattering review that says this was a waste of my time or anything like that. And these are for people, and some of you guys that are in our private chat have seen some of the responses I posted inside the private chat. Everybody had fun. I'm pretty sure as time goes on, people will be able to pick apart any movie. But as far as like getting what you pay for, laying down your money, and just having fun, this did it for me. Like I said, I as a comic book movie, I thought it was fun. It's got a basic generic framework for a storyline, but the action and the visuals really carry it. Every weakness that it has is pretty much overshadowed by either the score, Dwayne Johnson's performance, or the action. Like I said, a lot of stuff gets blown up. Some people lose their limbs. Some people get split right down the middle. It was glorious, and I just had a lot of fun with it. So, like I said, let's go. Like I said, I wasn't meaning to talk to anybody in the chat, but since you guys are here at 1:06 a.m., I might as well say hi. Serious question about Henry. Do you think they are changing the suit to include? I don't think so. I think we are done with the days of trunks. I really do. The trunks came in, for a lot of you don't know, back in the old circus days and strong Power Man days. The outfit was like a leotard with trunks outward. A lot of the strength lifters and circus performers made that. And when Superman and Batman were created, there were still a lot of traveling circuses that went across the nation. And you can look on the posters and you can see what they're wearing. And it's very similar to what the superheroes ended up wearing for decades. We're in 2022, and the trunks just don't fit the time. Maybe I'm wrong. I doubt you'll ever see those again. That's just me. Yeah, the visuals are amazing. There's a lot of scenery and stuff that they do, especially with the city of Kandak. I love the way they do. There's a scene in there, won't spoil it too much, where you see the old city overlaid over the new one because of what Dr. Fate can do. Who, by the way, Pierce Brosnan, very, very strong, very, very powerful performance. I expected no less, but I didn't know what to expect. I love the way his voice sounds. I also love the flying. I love the flying. Other than Man of Steel, this was my favorite flying superhero movie because they weren't just flying, going from back and forth like the old generic ways. There was a lot of hovering, and it wasn't overused, and it was done at angles. The cinematography was great. So, like I said, a lot of fun with it. Let's see, Chappie. I'm seeing Black Adam tomorrow night, but it's just great to see Henry Cavill Superman. Okay, I wasn't gonna put that in there, but I guess if I messed up into the live stream, I might as well tell you, yeah, he's in there. The thing about that was we all pretty much knew it's a horrible kept secret, so it's not really a spoiler. The reaction of the crowd was beautiful, in my opinion. Regardless of what anybody might think about the movie, if you've seen this movie with a crowd of people and you got to feel the reaction of Cavill coming through, my theater that I was with tonight exploded. The group that we sent last night said they exploded. And the last time I felt that is when another worst kept secret, which was when Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire were in Spider-Man. We all knew they were going to be in the movie, but when it didn't change the fact that when you saw them coming through those portals, there were people in my rented theater that we out that were near tears in their eyes. I don't know why grown men cry, but it was a genuine feel of elation. And regardless of what you might, how you might rate this film, just being there for that was special, just as special as it was for me. Maybe at a different level, depending on what you feel about Superman versus Spider-Man, but it was special to see that relief and adulation when he does come through. I thought it was a very well done scene, and once again, it's just one of these pieces of the movie that is a place setter for the future. They were clearly thinking about the future when they made this movie, and some of that may, in some people's eyes, hurt the movie because of the development of the characters is a byproduct of the fact that he's just giving you a taste of what they can do. Do you like these characters? Did you like Cyclone? Did you like Atom Smasher? Did you like Dr. Fate? If so, hey, there's going to be more coming. I enjoyed myself. Like I said, sometimes I just go to movies to see things get blown up, torn apart, set on fire, hot chicks, all that stuff. And it just doesn't need to be a Silence of the Lamb level type of movie. Not saying that this movie is a stupid man's movie. It just didn't need to be anything beyond just what I got. And it was maybe because it's that time of the week for me and it's my relaxation time. Black Adam was fun. I would recommend people seeing it. And one of those few movies, go see it on, we saw it on IMAX. I'm saying see it on IMAX, which I'm saying more and more lately, is because of the way it was shot, the angles it was shot, the big, beautiful cityscapes and stuff that they did. It really needs to be seen on the big screen and with surround sound, because the score, I was surprised by the score. I really wasn't really thinking about the score being as dominant as it was. What it was, and I had fun. All right, let's see. Yeah, all right. So, okay, this is the first time I'm pronouncing your name. Niladre Gosh. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. I watched it last night. The movie was great. I don't understand why. Here's the thing about the critics. Listen, I have a lot of friends that are critics. I don't think critics are bad people. But in this day and era, critics have different criteria that they judge a movie on that a lot of times fans just don't have a regard for. If I go to a movie to see action, people getting their ass whipped, stuff getting torn apart, blown up, disintegrated, over-the-top superhero magic and powers and action, and I go to that movie and it checks off 100% of my boxes, with some critics 44% doesn't really mean anything to me. All right, that critics see movies in a cross section, and they go to movies one after another and after another. And sometimes they will destroy a movie. Oh, that movie wasn't thought-provoking. It was a shallow score, or it was the script was bad, horrible writing, because they're comparing it to some of the more in-depth stuff that they've seen. But this is a business, and the people that make certain movies make them for a certain audience that doesn't necessarily include critics. And you see that, like right now, I don't like bringing up Rotten Tomato too much because I think it has an outsized effect on movie making. But I mean, if you look, it's got a horrible critic score. But last time I checked, when I got home, it was at 90% audience score, and that was with over 1,500, closing in on 2,000 reviews. And the critic score was at 133 reviews. So the audience knows what they want. A critic knows how they judge a movie, and there's no wrong answer. It's just that I always implore people: if you want to go see a movie, go see it. I have There's nothing I have less value for me personally for than a critic's opinion, unless that critic is aligned with the type of movies I see. Like if I have a horror critic or something like that, and he's given reviews for the last 5 or 6 years, and he said, certain things, and my views align with his, and I can kind of trust it for what kind of movie I want to see, then I might listen to a critic. But ultimately, it's my money. Critics get to see these things for free, and they get to see a lot of movies. Some of those critics see 2 or 3 movies a week. This movie was made for geeks like us, and it did the job. It may not have done the job for critics, but neither did Venom. But they destroyed Venom, and audiences ended up liking Venom because I wasn't going into Venom looking for Martin Scorsese level Casino or Goodfellas, that. I went to Venom to go see Venom rip people apart, to see big CGI fights. And if it fits your needs, then the critic score really doesn't mean anything. I just, like I said, I think in this modern era of YouTube and everybody else being able to get their voice out there, critic scores don't mean anything to me. And that's not to knock critics. I like you guys. I know you guys got a job to do, but unless you're going to pay for my movie, I'm going to go ahead and form my own opinion. And even to the extent of listening to me, listen, if you're watching a show and you know that you like the opposite stuff than I do, then tell me I'm full of crap and go plop your money down and go see a movie. That includes Halloween Ends. I thought Halloween Ends was an abysmal failure of a movie. I sent some people that like it. It's up to the consumer. So now would be me being the critic and the consumer going ahead and making up his own mind. So, it's just we've given these guys too much of influence, and we've given things like Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb a lot more influence. They're useful to an extent, but I think we put too much weight on the opinion of certain people, and I just think we should move on. And I think Black Adam is really a case of that. All right, Kaden, how did you feel about Adam Smasher? I really liked Adam Smasher. I didn't think I was going to like him beginning in the movie. I thought I was going to, okay, this is a goofy guy with a bunch of dumb one-liners. Now I'm going to hear about his life story and how you could, about his uncle. But once I understood that I'm going to see Adam Smasher again. I just from seeing these characters, I knew for a fact I'm going to see these characters again, and I want to see more of them. They gave me enough of Adam Smasher and Cyclone and their interaction with each other that I want to see more. That's one of the things that this movie did. Not only did I feel like they were setting us up for more, I wanted to see more. There's nothing in this other than the kid and the lame villain. Those, but I want to see more Adam Smasher. I want to see more Cyclone. I want to see more Black Adam. I want to see more of Amanda Waller's interaction with these guys. I want to see more of everything that was in there. I want to see more of. I want more of the world. This movie takes place really in a localized area. I would love to see the rest of the world through these characters' eyes. So, to answer your question, Caden, I thought they were good. Like I said, I everything about the movie was just enough for me to want more of them. All right, real quick, to answer this question, yeah, Cyclone was great. Like I said, they put her out there with not of depth and information, but like I said, I there's no way in hell you're not going to see these characters again. There's just no way in hell. Even certain ones that may or may not have met their demise in the movie, the nature of some certain characters, don't count on it. It's comic book death. So, All right. Say it again. He's talking to Anthony Grisky. Protest says, should DC stay away from these kind of kid subplots? Remember the family? No. Because of the mission. Here's the mission with Black Adam. The mission with Black Adam was, get it on the screen. Introduce as many characters and character elements as possible to set things in motion. Like I didn't get enough of Adam Smasher, Cyclone, and that, but you didn't get the feeling that was their point. I got plenty on Black Adam, and I got the sense that I'm going to see these characters again somehow, some way. All right, even if these guys didn't have a guarantee that there was going to be another step, they wrote their story in a way that it was going to be that way. Now, as far as you mean? I'm sorry, I read your question. The kid subplots, in the Justice League, yeah, because it was added on garbage scene that was supposed to be there. And the kid that's in this movie, I just thought that the movie didn't need him. I really thought that it needed his mother, but I thought that every element of the story that they told through the kid and his dumb one-liners and his just annoying presence for me, I'm sorry, but could have been told through other characters in the city maybe, or the mother herself, or made a stronger villain and told them through him, because there's a story to be told. It was, and when you overlay Black Adam, it is taking place in the Middle East, and they didn't go into the real life situations that are going to the Middle East, but they just gave you the historic trope that's gone on in the Middle East as far as colonization, people, outsiders taking over. So that was a basic premise without it's a generic premise. But and this kid, they used this kid to explain all that. I just thought that they could have done it a different way, because the kid was just filler to me. All right, sorry I misread your question, Protest. It is late. Yeah, that's a pretty solid review. I mean, like I said, I gave it a solid 7, but 6.5 is strong. Like I said, it's not a perfect movie by any means, but it's fun. It's fun. I mean, and it just seems to know what it is. It just didn't seem to try too hard to do these other things. It just said, we're going to give you some explosions. We're going to give you a lot of lightning. Holy cow, there's a lot of lightning and a lot of shine. And I love the way he uses his powers. I really, I can't overstate. I've seen a lot of the Rock's movies, and I do understand the criticism of him being, it's just basically Dwayne The Rock from the WWE putting on whatever costume you want. No. His mannerisms are different here. His acting is different here. His cadence and his speech is different. A lot of the Rock movies you see, he's basically going the same way. You can pretty much close your eyes and you'd have to figure out what movie. No, this is Black Adam. He's very close to Black Adam. He's closer to his character as far as being as far away from the Rock that we know, further away than any other movie I've seen him in. This was a very strong performance from him. A lot of people will disagree. I thought it was a strong performance. I felt, and I didn't think this would be. I actually felt that I was watching a story of Teth Adam and not just The Rock in a costume. That was just me. Once you guys see it, you guys can pretty much make that determination for yourselves. All right, nowadays we can't trust movie critics. Yeah, that and some of the movie critics, if you read some of these critics, the problem I have is, listen, if you don't like a movie, if you don't like a movie and you can break it down and tell me the story was weak, the villain was weak, and it just the action wasn't there, and it was just a bunch of gratuitous nudity, and it was misogyny, and just cuss words, or you just use just to make a point. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why when you criticize a movie that you can criticize a movie. The problem I have is, especially with some of the ones I've read, the basis of their criticism seems to be nonsense for the most part. And you can hear it in the verbiage that they use. Like I saw another letdown for DC. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to, do I really need to scroll down to see what your comment was? And then you'll see it, and you guys have read them. You can clearly tell when it's not just breaking down a movie objectively, and it's like I don't want to say agenda, but it's almost like you went into the movie to suffer. And like I said, the majority of these guys saw this movie for free. I could see if you plop down to $14 and didn't like it, okay, but even then, most fans that I've had say, anything negative about it, they've been able to give me the negatives, and it just made sense. But with some of the snarkiness that's coming from the critics, I'm like, I think it's a disservice to the profession. Not all critics. There's some really good ones out there that really, really had some basic logistical issues with the movie. But if you read enough of them, there's a lot of them that are just, it's like, they're turning it into their own little comedy skit. And I'm like, how can I trust your objectivity there? So that's just me, Hey, dude, Vince, how you doing, man? 7 out of 7. I guess you're saying 7 out of 10. That's what I gave it. 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. Like I said, that's even higher than I gave it. Once a movie reaches 6.5 or 7 to me, I feel like I've I spent my money and my time and well, because like I said, a 5 or a 5 for me is like, hey, at least I got to hang out with friends. It wasn't horrible. Once it starts dropping below a 5, I'm like, okay, with the advent of streaming, should I really be here? That's once it drops below, but a 7, once it goes above a 5 and reaches into the 6, I really start liking it. Like I said, not a perfect 10, but I think if I had more time with these characters when I see them again, I think getting a 10 or an 8 out of this movie is a progression of me seeing more of these characters. And they made me want to see more of these characters. I may adjust mine up to a 7.5. I said, 7.5? I might be up at an 8 once I realize, because it's only been a few hours since I saw it. But I really like the characters. The ones I liked, I wanted to see more of. The ones I didn't like, I hope I don't see. Like I said, it did not have a strong villain, but that doesn't mean it didn't have conflict. There is plenty of conflict in this movie. And to be honest with you, they could have taken out the villain and it wouldn't have hurt the movie. They could have just, he was a plot hole for me, and in the time that they gave him, Sabak is the enemy. And like I said, I just thought it was, to me, it was all kind of like for Two-Face in The Dark Knight. There was so much going on in The Dark Knight that if you're going to bring in a top tier character like Two-Face, give him his own movie and not stuff him in a movie with so much going on. And the Joker is the primary antagonist in the movie. So that's just how I felt about that one. All right. Yeah, and that I was shocked to see that because that's a high score usually even for a previews day, and it probably is not going to drop below 80 given the average. But when I and like I said, when we go on our show tomorrow, I'm going to show you some of because we do surveys and we talk to people and we text people and we're like, what did you think? What was a high point? Because we want to be able to report back to the people who help us sponsor our screenings and give away our prizes and stuff. We want to be able to give them a consensus about how things are going from the marketing all the way up. So I didn't get any, like I said, I even the people that are usual laughing at me, hey DC guy, I don't give these movies time of day. And I said, I posted one in our group with a guy was fervently against DC and just, was going to watch it on streaming. He liked it. He's probably going to go see it again. So once again, when we judge these movies, don't judge them for how you feel when you went to the movie. Did you have fun? What did you go in for? If you went in for looking for Watchmen, which I think is one of the most in-depth, thought-provoking superhero movies. It is my favorite Zack Snyder movie, period. That movie's deep. That movie had nearly 3 hours to give you everything. That movie covered a lot. That was the mission of that movie. The mission of this movie is come in, have a seat, grab your popcorn. And, by the way, the pacing of this movie is perfect. You may see it and not like the content, but it doesn't drag. There's no drag in it. That's what I really like. Sometimes I've seen really good movies that have pacing issues and it kind of like puts me out of it. This movie, and that's another reason why some of the weaker story elements don't really hurt it, because it's like somebody pushing you down the hill and you being expected to be able to read signs and notice everything while you're rolling down the hill. It just moves so fast. There may be things when I watch it again, I'm like, wow, I can't believe I missed that. I can't believe I missed that. That sucked there. But first time viewing it, they made it. They put you on a ride. And that's, like I said, not a perfect movie, but it was fun. All right, Elsa Christina, who takes Rotten Tomatoes seriously? They gave a high score to The Last Jedi, and that movie was garbage. So go watch it. Yeah, I agree, but unfortunately, and I hope this is changing, and I think this is changing with the way studios and the way streaming and everything else works. Is I hope that these studios are looking beyond that, because prior to this, other regimes and other managements, especially of Warner Brothers, who is now Warner Brothers Discovery, they put a lot of weight in critics scores, and they put a lot, not just critic scores, but certain segments of the fan. They never really reached out, in my opinion, because we were part of that process and got the full-on consensus about, what criteria made a movie fun for you, and critics can somehow have a disproportionate effect on whether a movie even gets made or a sequel to a movie gets made. I don't think this is going to be the case here. I get the sense that the current management was thinking long term, and they're not gonna really change their thoughts one way or another, because, like I said, this movie was in production before they took over, and it doesn't have a lot of major IPs. The major IP in this movie is Dwayne Johnson himself. Everybody else, for the most part, most of the people that I went with that aren't geeks did not know who these characters were. Their familiarity with Black Adam comes from Dwayne Johnson's face being on it. So that it had that going against it. But when it comes to who takes Rotten Tomatoes seriously, unfortunately, there was an error where the studios did, and not just Rotten Tomatoes, critics in general. And at least in Rotten Tomatoes' defense, there is an audience score to let you see the drastic differences in between what we go into a movie for, and you can look at them side by side. I'm pretty sure, if Caden, if you're still here, let me know. I think the critic score is like 44%, which is horrible. But the people who got in their car, paid to see this movie, got their crew together to go see this movie, enjoyed it. So the right answer is yours. Not mine. I'm just giving you my thoughts. But the right answer is how you felt. I felt good. It was fun. Like I said, I'll tear it up and dissect it tomorrow and come up with other stuff. But right now, right out of the theater, it's a lot of fun, man. I mean, this is what I want more of. I just want more fun. I don't want my mind bended all the time. I watch a lot of stuff that just bends my mind. Sometimes I just need to have that unwound and have some simple Tom and Jerry violence. It was fun. So, all right, Jerry, Josh Fasher, 8 out of 10. See, and like I said, this is what I'm getting. And I'm, like I said, yes, you might think I'm biased because I work with studios. We do promote movies. In fact, we're going to be giving away a ton of t-shirts tomorrow during the show, so be prepared for that. But it's still my time. I still have to make time in my day to go see this movie. And this movie I didn't go see with our screening group. And there's been plenty of movies that we promoted that I've outright said are horrible. We promoted Halloween Ends. That movie was awful. We promoted Halloween Kills. That movie was awful. All right. We promoted Birds of Prey. I didn't like Birds of Prey. I mean, I said just because we're promoting it doesn't mean I have to like it, or that, it's still my time. And I can't fake the kind of energy that it takes to talk to somebody about a movie, especially doing this whole YouTube thing. Sith Holocron. I'm gonna say I love your name, by the way. For those of you who don't know what a Sith Holocron is, read the some of the old legend stuff, some of the old Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic, Sith War. It was supposed there's a Jedi Holocron and a Sith Holocron. They're in the novels. I just love seeing that name, and I wish they would add that more to the movies. That's off topic. Sith Holocron, even hats off. Yep, I do have my hat off. How you doing? We are Venom. This hat's on the dude. I love the flying. I love the hovering. I love the hovering and the angles. And there's a scene where he's looking at a statue of the champion of the country and the city, and he's just there. And the proportion of this, it's a huge, colossal statue. And you just seeing how they filmed it is great. The superhuman speed stuff, that it's really getting, it's being done a lot because superhuman speed is every damn superhero movie has it. I like the way it was done here. I also like the way the speed flight was done because they did it at different angles. It wasn't just the hero coming, all the time and disappearing and snatching his enemy. He would do it at a different angle. Like there's a scene where there's a bike chase where Black Adam's everywhere. I mean, you're all over the screen, and it was just that kind of pace of a movie to where there may have been a whole bunch of other stuff wrong with this movie, but the pace just drug me along in a way that I'm like, you know what? I'll get to that later. So I had a lot of fun with it, man. I am doing okay. Alistair 6531. Like I said, I meant to do a recorded stream and just give you guys my quick 5-10 minute thoughts, but I have a running my mouth problem, especially when I have interaction with my fellow geeks. So I have nothing going on right now. So I'm just going to answer as many questions as possible. How is everybody going? I'm doing great. They ruined Superman with that suit and that theme. All right, Marcus, I can completely understand where you're coming from. Nothing had the potential to ruin Superman more than not having Superman on the big screen for 5 years. Having him there, even with that theme, which I understood the business reasons why they use it, was better than going another minute, another month, another week, another year without seeing Superman. So that would have ruined Superman. The time away, and like I said, you felt that. I could barely hear that theme when my crowd was, because they were cheering. Thought I was watching the Super Bowl. I understand where you're coming from, but what's worse, that or 5 years without seeing it and all this? Where is he going to ever come back? He's too old, and people didn't like Man of Steel and all that. All the stuff that we had to go through to finally get him back on the screen. They could have been playing the Three Stooges theme, and I would have still been like, by the way, if they had played the Three Stooges theme, it wouldn't have mattered, because every crowd that I talked to and the ones that saw it last night with my other group and the group that I saw it with tonight, we couldn't hear that theme. We could not hear that theme. I heard it faintly, but that crowd overtook that. So I understand what you're saying, but like I said, 5 years without him, or I'm happy. Chappie, Elsa, I guess Elsa's, I guess I might have chatted. People sometimes put way too much stock in Rotten Tomatoes, and it's like, just go judge the movie for yourself and then go see what other people are saying about the movie. Yeah, I mean, and like I said, in Rotten Tomatoes' defense, they at least give you equal time with people who are actually going and paying and verified to see the movie, and critics. And just by looking at those drastically different ends of it, you can come to the conclusion that maybe we're on two different planets when it comes to these movies. All right, rather you agree with them or not as well. Yeah, that's the same here, and that's what I employ the people with. Black Afro Star, how you doing? Several reviews, just as like every time a kid spoke. Yeah, I didn't. I'm one of those guys. I just thought it was forced cliche. But once again, I was on a ride. That his being annoying, and the kid actors did fine. He did what they asked him to do, but he was the voice of the people, is what he was. And I just thought, instead of trying to force all that into one kid and maybe his mom, that they could have either created characters or done a little bit more when it comes to like spreading that, hey, we're oppressed, we need a champion. We don't need a good guy, a great guy to be our champion. We just need a champion. You guys didn't come here until Black Adam, came in here. We're the rest of the world's heroes abandoned us, and here's Black Adam fighting for us. I thought there was a great scene in there where the people of his city look upon him as a hero, and these are some underserved people in an underserved part of the world. And I understood what they were trying to do with the kid. I just thought they could have just done it better. I didn't mind him being there. I just thought too much of the narrative was forced through him. And I think it hurt his character. But as far as that's nothing that destroyed the movie for me. I just, hell no. He was just there. William Free Chat. Let's see. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, like I said, I just happened to be on, and I wanted to give my review. The problem is YouTubers run their mouths about critic scores, especially Ratu run their yeah. And like I said, I don't like the only time I really brought it up this time around is because I saw heading into this movie the narrative, and there's other movies too. I mean, there's other movies that the narrative takes hold before the customer can actually sit in their seat. And people are human, even though we know that critics, that may not be what we think. A lot of people subliminally, subconsciously will listen to that stuff, and I think that can really hurt a movie. And I'll give you an example of why I don't regard critics' scores or critics' opinions that much anymore, unless they're like in my sidecar geek them with me, is because I've ruined myself as far as movies. There are movies that I when I cared what critics thought, and I'm like, wow, they tore that movie apart. I'm just going to wait for that to come on cable. And then when I saw it on cable, I realized I should have gone and saw this on the biggest screen possible. But I listened to some guy who didn't pay for my ticket, doesn't think the way I think about when it comes to movies, doesn't have the sensibilities that I have when it comes to movies. And conversely, I've had people tell me, critics say, hey, this movie is great. Surefire Oscar win. This is worth your time. And I've gone to the movie and it's been worthless. So movies are expensive. Even without the snacks, movies are expensive. It's too expensive to make a mistake with just someone else's opinion as your tool. Do as much research as you possibly, even if it's just looking at the RT score and seeing the fact that there's a 40-point difference between what a critic says and what an audience says, and just that alone should add more to your data. So, hey, that like I said, you're not alone. I thought it was awful, but if there's a lot, like I said, I handed out a poster today to a guy who loved it. There's a poster sitting on my counter because we were putting up the Black Adam posters because we have this huge event going on this weekend. He grabbed the poster and is like, dude, what did you think about this movie? I'm like, I hated it. He's like, oh, I loved it. I'm like, great. Take a poster, take a t-shirt. Here's a button. I got plenty. And listen, man, I'm not going to tell you not to be happy with what you like to see. I thought it was awful, but it's all about that experience. And now that, since we've been back from the pandemic, it's just how the biggest important part for me is how do these movies make you feel? Did you feel cool when you left? I felt great when I left out. When I left out of Halloween's End, I was like, ugh. But other people felt great. When I walked out of Blade Runner 2049, it was like I was born again. When I walked out of Shazam, I loved Shazam. I just had that feeling, when I left out of the theater, and it was the same way here. I was talking to total strangers today, because obviously, when I'm clearly a geek when I wear this. I wear it everywhere I go because it has my franchise on it. And, it's how I advertise. And we were handing out business cards talking about people, talking about the movie. I mean, complete strangers, I miss those kind of superhero movies where we could just come out and have fun and hang out at a Starbucks or a burger joint with total strangers and talk about these things. And that's what tonight was about. Pick it apart over the weekend. Just have fun today, All right, so does Stella. Okay, so you're both wrong. All right, cool. I think Black Adam will go the route of the first Independence Day. Critics were not fond of it, but audience loved it and made it a lot of money. Yeah, I mean, I do not know how much money Black Adam will make or not make. I don't know how much the Rotten Tomatoes critics. A lot of people say that the money got downgraded from 75 to 60 because of the early reviews from critics. And once again, answering the question of why people who listens to critics, those guys. I think that Black Adam might have an uphill battle making a certain amount of money simply because it's Black Adam. And as good as this movie is, Black Adam is a derivative character from a derivative character that wasn't even in DC Comics until the early 70s, as opposed to a Batman, a Superman, a Wonder Woman. These are household names. Black Adam is not a household name. Dwayne Rock Johnson has become one, but Black Adam, Dr. Fate, Cyclone, Atom Smasher, these characters are not household names, and a lot of the general audience gravitates towards the household names, even if they're not geeks. But I most of the people I talked to said they would not mind going to see this again, and they just had a lot of fun with it, So I think the company knows, DC and Warner Brothers knows that it's probably going to take a plunge next week because guess what? Halloween weekend and Halloween Saturday, the weekend falls really close to Halloween, which is on Monday. And every time that I've ever seen that, it kind of plunges because if you are going to take a family somewhere, a lot of your activities are going to be Halloween. But I don't think I think they have enough data to go forward with this universe and to continue on. So I'm not worried about this. But like I said, I really do think that I said before all of this and before the Cavill thing leaked out, that if this movie made $550 to $650, somebody's getting promoted. But a lot of those guys are not on the company. But if somebody, they should be popping champagne if it did $500 to $650 worldwide. That would be phenomenal numbers. Now with Cavill back in it and the response that he got, it could make a little bit more. But this wasn't the carrier movie that a BVS that made $879 or a Wonder Woman that made $800. It wasn't that type of movie. I know The Rock hyped it at that one, but like I said, you had no major IPs in it. Your main protagonist, a lot of people have never heard of. So all the money that you're going to make with this movie is based on Dwayne Johnson for the most part. Pierce Brosnan maybe, but for the most part, it's Dwayne Johnson's movie. He carried this movie. But like I said, the numbers, I don't know what it'll make, but I would not be surprised if it didn't go completely nuts. But I wouldn't be surprised the other way if it did. No fan I've talked about is destroying this movie. A lot of times, word of mouth, like you're saying here amongst us geeks. If you ask me, go see it. Go see it and go see it with several people. And Go have drinks or a burger afterward and continue to talk about it. So that's what I did. That's why I was even doing this live stream. So, and also, and Independence Day is one, but another example is Venom. They destroyed Venom. I don't know what the Rotten Tomato scores were of Venom, but I remember critics saying that it was a shallow movie, shouldn't have been made, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, but the fans spoke, and they spoke again because Let There Be Carnage wasn't a great movie. They butchered that movie to get to the end credit scene. It worked, you know. All right, Jacob McKenzie, thank you for joining me on this, whatever the hell it is. Black Adam is definitely a Zack Snyder movie in the way. Oh yeah, I was gonna get to that. Anybody who likes if you like Zack Snyder's movie, he is 100% correct. The Zack Snyder's story is much stronger than anything Black Adam has to offer. But on everything else, it felt to me like action-wise, actually a little bit higher tier because a lot of Zack's movies were paced out. This movie, it's filmed like a Zack Snyder movie. The cinematography is like a Black Snyder movie. And you know what? That hovering that they do is emblematic of what was done in Black Matter and the violence in in a lot of slow motion. So for better or for worse, yeah, it definitely felt like a Zack Snyder movie. A little bit faster pace and a little bit more brutal and violent. But I definitely got that feeling. But yeah, Zack Snyder. But once again, Zack Snyder puts a lot into his characters, and he also there's a different mission there. To me, the writing and the story where it does fail, when it does fail, is because of the fact that they didn't design it as a strong. They designed it as the cornerstone of a building that they're building. And yeah, sometimes they sacrifice story. There's plot holes and certain elements that are brought in towards the third act that didn't hurt the third act, but were kind of meaningless. Certain things that the villain does, if you were to take him out and all the stuff that he does out, I didn't need the villain in this one. The movie stood alone, just a lot of the conflict alone between the Justice Society and Black Adam and the people of the city, and also the development. The Hawkman, I thought was another strong character. He's a bit over the top, but I think that's what they were going for. I didn't know what I was going to think about seeing a Hawkman on the screen like that. He's a hardcore guy as far as we got rules. Good is good, bad is bad. There is no gray area. And now he's dealing with a gray area type of person and situation in Black Adam. So they did a good job in putting those together and making them stare at each other. And I love whatever character evolution that there was between those guys. And then, like I said, with Atom Smasher and Cyclone, I thought that was cool. I know I'm going to like these guys. They just gave me enough to where I know I'm going to like these guys if I see them again. I really do think that I'm going to see them again. Okay. Don't know what this is or what this is a link to because I can't click on it here, but I'll probably click on it in the rewatch. All right, Chappie. And besides, most of the DC movies get bad rotten scores. Yeah, the problem is because of the way things were managed before, DC's reputation was taking a hit because there was no consistency. When you put out a movie like Man of Steel and you blink because of a certain segment of the society is whining, and you ignore the people who did like the movie, and you do BVS and you don't release the full version, and you mess with that movie and don't listen to the people who actually paid to see it, and then you butcher the movie that came after that, your reputation is for not only are you putting out a blotchy project, but you're alienating the people who did like it, and you're not giving them anything to go on. So the expectations for DC weren't high because of that history, because of it's self-inflicted. I hope this movie changes that, because the expectations for this movie, it met my expectations. I didn't come in with Man of Steel expectations for this movie. I didn't come in with Watchmen expectations for this movie. I knew I was going into a cerebral, like I said, not a stupid movie, but there are just certain movies that are more cerebral in their mission. This movie was just to get it out there, get as many people on the screen. Do you like these characters? We're going to give you more of them. I felt I would be totally and utterly shocked if we didn't see more of these characters down the line, Black Adam included. And obviously, I there's no way anybody can ever convince me that that's not the goal. And when you know that's the goal of this endeavor, the weaker elements of what you saw are a little bit more acceptable, because we weren't, when I left the movie theater, we weren't talking about the shortcomings of Black Adam. We were talking about what's next. Or wouldn't it be cool? I don't know how many times I heard, and I'm getting, wouldn't it be cool if so and so, or dude, what if they did this with that now that he's there, and now that we have this character, that character? I mean, we were talking in anticipation, and we weren't talking, the tone was so much more different than a lot of the DC movies that I've walked out of. When I walked out of the Suicide Squad, even though I liked the Suicide Squad, there was no anticipation of what was next because we didn't know what the hell was next, and that hurts DC's reputation. And that might cause people to give it bad reviews or not even give it a shot at all. I think this might be a turning point. Whatever you might want to say about Black Adam, not a perfect movie, fun movie. Whatever you want to say about it, I think we're at a turning point to where the conversation is in a different tone. And you know what? That stuff helps. They listen to that stuff. All right, Brucifer, Black Adam was amazing. Once again, I mean, I've been on this stream for 51 minutes now, and I've gotten this is you've seen. You can roll up and down. These are people who've seen it, so it's not just me. People had fun, and like I said, the key word was that I heard when we did our surveys last night, and when I talked to people today, was it was a good time and it was fun. That's enough. That's enough, dude. Life is hard. Work week is hard. Stress is hard. You get to sit down for 2 hours and 4 minutes, is what the clock's in at. It's fun. I just was able to relax. I reclined my seat. Thank God for reserve seating. I cannot believe people who call me old. The only time where it applies is I cannot imagine life without reserve seating. Holy cow. I remember growing up without when you had to wait in line, and when they let your ass in the theater, you had to run and get your seat, or you had to, if you were with a family of 4, you sit the smallest and shortest and the fastest one of you to get the seats in the middle of the ones you wanted. Now, you just get this little doohickey right here, man. You pick your seat. I get to stroll in. I can get my food if I want to. If there's businesses around I want to take a look at, I don't got to worry about, wow, am I going to get the crappy seats and nosebleed seats? Or if it's IMAX, am I going to get those really crappy seats that are right in the front and I'm doing this? I don't have to do that. Thank you for reserve seating. Not just for this movie, all movies. Thank you, whoever invented that. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, it was a sports moment, and it was so fun. Like I said, the only other feeling the most recent feeling that I've had with that that I can compare to that Superman scene to was when when you finally saw Andrew Garfield come through the portal. Spoiler alert! It's been 2 years, and he pulls off the mask, and you see it. You knew it was coming. You knew Tobey Maguire was going to be there. You knew all these people were going to be there, but it didn't change the fact that when you see them. And then, just like I said, just to be in the middle of a movie theater when you just see cheering, it just made it more fun. So yeah, I haven't heard anybody who's gone to it who had a different response to the Cavill scene. They set up. I don't know which one, a particular one you're talking about. I saw several things that they set up that didn't go anywhere. And like I said, and when I watch it again, because I am going to go see it again, I will probably see about 5 or 6 more. But once again, when I come on the rewatch, I know I'm going to be a little bit more skeptical. That's not going to change the fun I had tonight. But yeah, there are several moments that they set up that they didn't really go anywhere. And then certain things that they did weren't really necessarily as accurate as it could be. Once again, didn't hurt the movie at all. But like I said, when we go into the in-depth discussion tomorrow or later on today, we'll go into some of those things. So if you're there, and I love your screen name, by the way, El Taco Slayer. I love that name. Dude, if you ever create an avatar to reflect what your name is, I want to see that. All right, Black Star Afro. I haven't seen Black Adam yet, but he has improved his acting. See, Ballers, he's just The Rock. Black Adam, and like I said, people disagree to the degree he performs this role is, but he's definitely different. His manner, like I said, the biggest thing I found, the mannerisms and the cadence and the response, the way he speaks to people. You felt like you were talking to a conflicted person. You felt that you were talking to Black Adam, and when he responds to the heroic mantra that the Justice Society gave me, he was like, "I don't understand what you're talking about. I'm Black Adam." So I felt it here. He's definitely improved. Dare I say this is his best movie? Don't know. I'll have to think on that one a little more. All right, that event. Thanks for the super chat. Gonna head off soon. I'm gonna have to see what that is. I don't know what the link is, but probably something cool. I don't think Vince would sabotage me. All right, good night, Vince. Thanks for stopping by. Like I said, I didn't plan to be here, and I always planned if I was going to answer questions, I thought 2 or 3 people might be watching. I did not think 30 to 40 people would come in, but thank you all for letting me ambush you in this manner. Thank you for the $2 super chat, man. Daniel Martin, would you say hierarchy of power has changed in the DCU, William? Yeah, that's hyperbole. Sounds like it's a step in the right direction. Yeah, that's hyperbole, and I don't blame him for saying that. Listen, with the previous guys not marketing it as fast and the trailers not being what they were, he took over the marketing, and you know what? Nobody sells you better than you sometimes. I thought the marketing could have been a lot better. We got a lot of marketing materials late. Like, I got a 50-pound box of like 100 some odd t-shirts and a lot of cool posters and stuff that we're giving away. We got that late. That's the kind of stuff I usually get a lot sooner. So I think the new regime added on and bolstered the ad campaign. But with that, the absence of that, the hierarchy of power and all this stuff, he was marketing himself. Now, in regards to the context of what he's saying, if you look at what the hierarchy of power was, you've seen most of those guys aren't around anymore. The only driving force currently, and this is not saying that he's going to be ahead of anything, all right, but right now, as we speak at 1:53 in the morning on October 21st, the only driving force right now that's in action and when it comes to DC on the big screen is this movie, is Black Adam. Now, is that fair for Black Adam? I mean, to have a derivative character have to carry the weight that major IPs? No, it's not. But that's the reality of it right now. So when he's saying right now the hierarchy, as silly as that sounds, and we should be laughing out loud of it, as silly as that sounds, right now he is currently, this could change in a couple of days. He is currently the axis upon which DC Films is going right now. He has presented elements in this movie that go further beyond the 2 hours and 4 minutes that his movie gives you. Obviously, with the Cavill thing, I mean, I don't think Cavill would be there if there wasn't a feature for the character. And I think in as far as when he talks about the demand of the customer and being truthful and not being able to give the customer everything that he wants, but to let them know that they're listening, that alone is a change that we haven't had since 2013. We're in the mess that it was in because they listened to the wrong people. They listened to critics. They listened to toxic fanboys, most of whom were never going to go see the movie. And then the ones who did go see the movie were never going to let go of the previous versions of those characters long enough to give a new version a chance. They listened to those people. The Rock is listening to us. Everybody got their piece of the pie in the last 10 years, with the exception of Zack Snyder's Justice League, but us, the people who actually remotely enjoyed these movies. So at least I got a guy in the pulpit that has at least got his ear towards us. So the hierarchy of power may be changing, not necessarily due to him, but because you're going to get a new DC president's head, you're going to get a lot of these guys. But at the same time, he's a part of it. I can't deny that he's a somewhat of a catalyst. And after what I saw tonight, with some more time and with endeavors that are completely under the David Zaslav regime, remember, this movie was produced under a different regime. A lot of the decision makings, a lot of the things that he wanted, where he got no's on, including Cavill. Imagine if he had the people that gave him the yes to go forward with some of the things that he did. Imagine if he had them from the beginning concept stage of this entire process. Who knows what kind of movie we have gotten? But I got the feeling that these guys are going to get together again, and we're going to get better stuff. So the hierarchy of power, yeah, that's silly, but it's definitely a step in the right direction. And I'm having fun. The conversations are fun now. And like I told people on my streams, less and less we're going to be talking less about the political stuff and the mismanagement and all that. And we're going to be talking more about what's next. That's what I left the theater with tonight or last night. What's next? I want more. All right. So, Chappie, I love Hellboy reboot. It's my top 12 favorite comic movies. That movie has a 70% Rotten score, but something like She-Hulk, which is a garbage TV show. Yeah. And once again, it's all subjective. How things make you feel when you watch them. And what needs to happen is with these streaming companies and these film companies, they need to pay attention to those emotions. They need to do a lot more sensing surveys and talk to your people, get on live streams and say, hey, yeah, this thing has a 5% critic score. How did you feel when you watched it? Because that's ultimately what's going to make us our money. The critics, we're not getting any money from them. We send them to the movies for free. But you, the audience, how did you feel about this? How did you feel about this? What would you like to see? And all along, we're not making any promises about what we can give you, but we want to hear from you. What do you think? And as the age of social media, they should be able to do that a lot easier and start moving away from fresh and rotten and all this stuff and move towards we have now a good consensus on what our audience felt when they saw this scene, and that's what we can build on, and I hope that's where we're at now. All right, would you say the hierarchy of power? Okay, let's see. Yep, I saw that one already. All right, Black Adam tries to recreate First Avengers skinny Steve effect with The Rock and looks absolutely like dog shit. Audience was laughing every time skinny. Yeah, that was part of the that was an issue. It wasn't on screen enough. What he's referring to is when each of the, obviously you know what happens when a character that's empowered by the powers of the wizard such as them, they become, you know, the lesser form of themselves. We know what The Rock is. We know what he looked like. That did look a tad bit. It just did. Okay, I don't know if it looked like dog shit, but it was so unbelievable. You just could have took the costume off of him and put him in his ancient garb, and I would have been okay. But with the skin and bones thing, with Steve Rogers, it fits because that's how you first see Steve Rogers of that. And a lot of people weren't as notable. They didn't know Chris Evans as much as they do The Rock. You know, The Rock is this big, burgeoning beast of a man to the point where he doesn't have to wear padding in his costume. So. Yeah, when he was looking all emasculated, I that was a little bit of a stretch, but once again, it was just one of them things that was there. We got a chuckle out of it, but we got done chuckling at and cheering for wow, what was that? And like I said, I think Dr. Faith or something came on after that. We just forgot about that. But yeah, Skinny Dwayne, yeah, that skinny Dwayne is gonna be memes. I'm sorry, Dwayne The Rock. I love the movie, was fun for me, but yeah, that could have been handled better. A lot of people loved it, and it made $1 billion, man, and it sold a lot of it streamed well. People bought it on digital, and I mean, I didn't like it, but listen, once again, how did you feel when you watched it? Yeah, RT's 44, but yeah, there you go, and that's as of 2 a.m. in the morning. Movies should be made for the general audience, not for the critics, like it used to be. Yeah, it used to be that way, and when we did these screenings, they would do, you know. And critics were different. Like when I was a kid, it was Siskel and Ebert, but those guys were so highbrow that we knew that they were up there, and they weren't gonna have the same movie going experience that we were. These critics today are kind of blend in with regular society until you realize that they're critics, and in some cases, they try to make a personality trait out of criticize. They try to be cool about it. I'm like, dude, just break it down to the point where with the movies. I don't need to. If you have a hard on for being mad about DC, I don't need to hear that, because once I hear that, I'm not going to read your review. If you're one of these guys that's like more DC trash or more so and so or more Dwayne Rock, why would I waste one more second of my life reading your review? You know, it's just you're already coming in a bias. You know. All right, Jacob McKenzie, the first act is mad. JSA Trente. Yeah, there's the problem with the first act, and I thought the first act was fine. I didn't think there was any weak acts for me. I thought it was strong. It was if I had to say least of the strong three, the first act didn't have a lot of meat on it until the JSA came around, and you just were blown away by them. But yeah, the parts of the middle act should have been the parts of the first act. There's things that you find out about Black Adam towards the middle act and towards going into the third act that I thought should have been in the beginning. That would have given, I think, his character a lot more momentum. It would have made it a lot more sense. Once again, it didn't kill the movie, but I think that's if I had to think of an act album that wasn't as strong as the first act. But like I said, the first act was layered with a lot of action too, so it's hidden well. But like I said, that's where I was at with that. Alastair, speaking of Star Wars, I'm playing Republic Commander right now. I'm not a gamer guy. Like I said, if I ever get into gaming, you guys will never see me again. And when you see me again, I will be out of shape. The beard will be down to my knees. I won't be eating the right foods because I am obsessive when it comes to that stuff, and I won't stop until I win. And since I'm not that good, it'll take me a long time to win, and I'll be in a gamer chair as a fossil, and they'll find me months later. So yeah, good that you're having fun, Brewster. For me, it's a 9 out of 10. Wow. Okay, I am a Black Adam fan since Alex Ross running. Hey, dude, yeah, Alex Ross is running. We're gonna review some of those comics, and yeah, I felt that was that run. Now that you bring that up, I did feel a lot of that run for me, and like I said, I thought, I thought The Rock he convinced me. He got me thinking in the moment, what will Black Adam do is and not how's The Rock going to do this? So I had a lot of fun. Like I said, once again, another review. I haven't had a negative one yet. Chappie, I like Birds of Prey. It was honestly the biggest surprise of 2020 because I thought that movie was going to be hot garbage from the trailers. And listen, dude, we promoted the hell out of that movie. I think other than this movie, I think we got a lot of stuff. We got inflatable hammers for that movie. We got hammer keychains for that movie. I think the problem with that movie is there was A, the name was horrible, and B, if you're gonna have Harley Quinn on there, you don't need the Birds of Prey in there, in my opinion. I thought the strength of the movie was her, and I think they should have really just cut a lot of fat of that movie. I loved Ewan McGregor's character, though, the Black Mask. So like it wasn't completely disaster for me, but I just thought it could have been a much stronger movie. And every time you bring out Harley Quinn as her, you only have so many times that you can bring out an actress and a certain character. You really want to make them high tier events when you do. And I think that was one of the ones that kind of hurt the character. I think that's one of the reasons why the Suicide Squad had a lot of reasons why it got harmed, COVID, everything else, and the fact that it was released without any support of other superhero movies. But I think that the brand of Harley Quinn was slightly damaged with that other movie. Hey, Larry. Yeah, it was awesome. See, like I said, these are people, you guys are not obligated to tell me anything other than what your true thoughts are. And usually the chat does. And like I said, I'm hearing the same thing in the chat room right now is the same thing I heard from the people who I saw it with and the people that we surveyed last night. Hey, thank you for showing up, David Bobo. Yeah, this is for those of you guys who just happened to come in. I was going to do a recording. StreamYard wasn't doing it, so I went into the live. I didn't expect anybody to jump in, but I love talking about this stuff with you guys, so I'm all right with it. I personally think they were using Williams for the cameos. Yeah. When you see Cavill again, and I really think you're going to, I think you're going to see Zimmer's score, or they may come up with a new one. But this was a flare. This was a flare to everybody. Superman is back. Here he is. Oh, by the way, here's that familiar song. This is a bringing together of older and younger Superman fans. I had no problem with it. Once again, I was just so happy to know that we have Superman again, and he's on the big screen, and we're going to see him again. So I was happy. Yes, I did, H-Marks. I gave him if you want, when you watch it on replay, I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. I might revise that to an 8 tomorrow. I had a lot of fun with it. I highly recommend it. It does have its weak points. What we were telling, the script is not as strong as it could be. The kid is annoying, and I thought, not just because I don't like kids, because I love kids, I just thought that the things that they try to force through that one character could have been done better through different elements. And I thought the villain was not needed. He was kind of a pointless villain. But there's just too many strong points for any of those elements to harm it. I thought the pacing was great. I love the score. I think Dwayne Dwight Johnson puts together a great performance. It is very convincing as Black Adam. I love the action. I love the special effect. I love the flying scenes. I loved all the characters except for the ones I just mentioned. I want to see more. This movie had me wanting to see more of everything that I saw. I wanted more of the Justice Society. I want more of Black Adam. I want more worlds with the characters, like I said, and I want more of his interaction with these other characters. Obviously, we got his interaction with one other superheroes, but if they're going to go big, I would love to see Black Adam's place in all this, and not just Black Adam. I just got a sense that this is a gateway movie for them to go in different directions, and whether it be $7 Theater or whether it be Warner Brothers Discovery through him or other people around him. But right now, he's the only game in town right now when it comes to DC movies until March, where we get Shazam, which a lot of people are now going to be looking forward to. So I had fun. It was a good time at the movies. I had fun. Like I said, right now I'm giving it a 7.5 because of those elements, but I could easily wake up tomorrow and with an 8. All right. Yeah. Somebody told me about that. They just, yeah. And that guy, the things that Billy's friend, the guy with the K, and I forget, he ends up becoming a Marvel. The thing that was better with Shazam is that guy. His things that he was saying were what a kid like that would be saying, about the situation. Instead of like an entire history lesson being funneled through one guy or one little kid. With Billy's friend Freddie, what he was saying was, I would, here you are, you're taking the superhero thing for granted. You don't even want to do it, and here I am walking around on a crane. I give my leg to be able to walk and fly like you do, and because remember at that time Billy's feeling sorry for himself and he's treating his adopted family like crap. I really like Shazam, by the way. I can't wait for this new Shazam movie. I know Shazam didn't make a boatload of money, but for what they spent, and I love the fact that this is the same production company that gave us Black Adam, gave us that. And next time, if you see a Superman in Shazam, it won't be just his neck. It's the whole damn thing. So I really had a lot of fun. Yeah. And that's not just me just wanting for it to be hopeful. It's just from the conversations. If you could look up and down the chat, we weren't having these type of conversations about a DC movie months ago. And not just the what I'm getting as far as reaction from online. It's the people that I watched the movie with, the people I just spent the 2 hours and 4 minutes with, and the people that we just sent to the movie, that were under no. And like I said, I sent not critics, but I sent people that are heavily critical of the DC brand, and to see them come out with it and give it the light of day, I'm seeing a little bit of a change. Who knows how long it lasts? But right now, hey, seize the moment. And when's the last time we had, how many times are you going to get an audience score? Usually the audience score, is way lower by today. And like I said, we might make up tomorrow and it plunges. But right now, I mean, people are enjoying themselves. People are having fun. The keyword is fun, action and fun. So yeah, I'm hopeful for the future, and it's not just me. A lot of people are hopeful for it, and let them be happy. Dad, I'm glad I'm the only person. Yeah, hey man, congratulations. Listen, there was a message that Halloween's Ends was putting across. It did not connect with me, but it connected with you. And there's H-Barts, Fade, Stella. You guys liked it. Hey, listen, want a poster? Give me your address. Chappie. By the way, I rewatched Paranormal Activity 4 since it was the 10-year anniversary of it, and my third favorite Paranormal Activity movies franchise, which is one of my favorite horror fans. I never got into those. Just because I've never had time to. I know, and now I just don't know where to jump in because there's a lot of them. Does Black Adam make you feel that the DCU? Yes, not just because of this movie, but the talk I'm hearing and from the people that I deal with as far as promoting the movie and doing our screenings and all that, there seems to be a long-term plan in place, and it's not a reactionary plan. Like, there are certain people that are saying, well, if this movie flops, there won't be anything else. No. From everybody I talk to, this is not going to have any bearing. You got to realize they inherited the movie. They inherited everything about this movie and did the best they could with it. You're not going to judge harshly the future of DC that has major IPs like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, based on a movie that has no major IPs as far as character-wise. So for them to be where they're at with this movie, I think that they have a long-term plan. I don't think you bring Cavill back and not have a long-term plan of using him, even if we don't know what's been signed and dotted and what's public now. It would be bad will to bring him back and to go dormant again. I think they came in and they recognized the damage done to the brand by not having a Superman on the screen for 5 years. I think they saw the damage to the brand of people leaving these movies. Listen, if you want to have a one-off like the Batman or or singular movies like that, that's great for those movies. But it's a different feeling when you walk out of The Batman or when you walk out of The Joker, knowing you got 2 or 3 years before you see anything from those types of characters again, and then walking out from Black Adam and knowing you have a similar type movie coming in March and you have another movie coming in June and from so on and so on. It just puts all the pieces, it lines them up in a positive way for you. And right now, I think that it's just going to get better simply because right now the Zaslav administration hasn't made a movie yet. Everything that they're working with is inherited stuff. The Flash is an inherited movie. Now they're doing reshoots and changing and what they can to align it to what they want to do, but for the most part, those movies are locked in. Now, as we get on the years and we start seeing fully fledged productions that are beginning, middle, and end controlled by this Zaslav or WBD and whoever he appoints as his head, whether it's the Rock's company or a brand new guy we never heard of, these are going to be conceived by them, produced by them, pre-produced by them, and put in the theaters by them. So I think if I enjoyed what a movie that they inherited right now, that they didn't have a lot to do with and a lot of control over, if I enjoyed that, I think I'm going to enjoy, just the decision to put Cavill in there. After 6 years of hearing no, just the decision to put Cavill in, that tells me that they got their ear to the ground and they're listening to the right people. Where it goes from there, don't know, but I like the effort. That effort hasn't been there in a long time. So, yeah, the short, I'm sorry for the long-winded answer. Yeah, I think we're on the right track again until otherwise notified, All right, definitely seeing it again. Yeah, I am going to see it again, too, because like I said, and that's just really analytical of me, like I said, Easter eggs and all that, and it was just a fun movie. It was just a good time, and I want to take a different group of people, with me, because like I said, those people that I went with tonight, you can only get that one time. You don't go get those surprises, and like I said, when guys those arms are getting ripped off, and like I said, just the kills in this movie are awesome. By the way, there are some absolute video game violence kills in this movie, and I loved each and every one of them. People die in all manner, in all ways in this movie, and it's quick and it's violent. There's not a lot of blood in this movie because a lot of them just get fried or blown up. Still hit all my tabs. I loved it. It's a theater movie. Yeah. I'm a proponent of I am a huge proponent of streaming and giving and series and things like that. But this is one of those movies that I will watch it on streaming. But it's mainly because of the cinematography and the color and everything of it. It's great, especially when the Justice Society hits. They're so colorful and cool. And when you see Atom Smasher, this big giant colorful thing coming at you. It's a very colorful comic book movie, and and when they say Snyder, I was feeling a little bit more 300 than anything else because I just felt a little bit more in all the good ways. So I enjoyed it. That Starro, wasn't that Starro the Conqueror? Yeah, I think it was Starro. Yeah, the Starro book. Yeah, that's Starro the Conqueror. Yeah. There wasn't a lot to work with Venom. I mean, not a lot. But Venom, listen, Tom Hardy, if you got Tom Hardy as your main guy, you have a chance. You have a chance. And it was good enough to make money. Good enough to make money. Carter Hall. He's actually, there's different versions of Hawkman, different continuities and all that, but the one I believe that I watched, because they kept calling him Carter. So it's Carter Hall. He does an amazing job, by the way. I would be surprised if you didn't see a continuation of this character in some way, shape, or form. And whether it be in a full-blown movie, maybe not, but who knows. But definitely as a catalyst. I love the way the character is portrayed with a more of an all-seeing wisdom. Pierce Brosnan nailed him. Not that I've seen too many live action or any live action. I know it's in Smallville had one, so that's banned. But he did a great live action interpretation of this character. Chappie, have you seen the trailer for? Yes, I saw it at the movie. I hadn't seen it. People were asking me about it the other night. I hadn't seen it until I was at. They showed a crap load of trailers, by the way. I hadn't seen it until tonight. Listen, dude, Jonathan Majors. it made me want to get out in the aisle and start doing push-ups and sit-ups and try to look somewhat like I'm part of the same species as he is. My God, he's ripped. He's like he looks wow. He looks great. He looks very convincing. I wasn't planning on seeing a Creed 3 under no circumstances. I just don't have the time. But I am going to see this movie. That trailer sold me. That trailer did what it was supposed to see. That looks great, and I love the story. I love the story. So, and there's a quote is you think it was easy for me spending 17 years behind bars, 17 years behind bars, watching someone else live my life, and you see the resentment towards Creed's character, and I'm in. I'm going to go see that. That's a family movie for me. Getting more excited to see it this weekend now, mainly for Henry Cavill, but I heard the film is shot. Yeah, it's shot beautifully. Like I said, I don't know if I'm using the right word. Not only is it the cinematography, but the angles that it's shot at are really cool, and you get more out of the characters and what they're at, especially out of the flying. You get a lot out of the flying at the angles and movement that they're showing you with. So I really enjoyed that. And when it's noticeably good that way, that's really good for me. All right, Anthony, do you think the first? I don't think so. No, because I saw references to the Earth that we're used to. And I got no. I could be wrong though. I don't have any evidence. My personal opinion is no. I saw references that we're still on the same Earth that we know and love. However, there are certain elements that weren't there. Maybe because of the movie's only 2 hours. I need to either have certain things excluded or have certain things not there in order to think that we're on a different Earth. Because the advent of the Justice Society being there with no mention of the Justice League, but you see, obviously Superman is there. You see Wonder Woman's picture. You see references to them. So I am going to lean 70 to 80% that we're on the same Earth that we've always been in. So yeah, Carter Hall. Continuity-wise, how do you think they get Black Adam and Shazam to that? Very easily. Very easily. If they want to have them in the movie, I think, fighting each other. I think if they have a battle with Superman, I think it would be probably a 3-way battle to save face for each character, and then add like an enemy in there that they can fight. Maybe Mr. Mind or Dr. Stuff. Because remember, when Black Adam was first brought out for the very first time back in the modern era, I believe it was Dr. Sivana that brought him back. And remember, Dr. Sivana is still a villain that they bought out, and plus Mr. Mind was in there as well. So there's a lot of things that we could see. We could also see him not be an anti-hero. We could see something happen to him where he's like, you know what? I like the way I was doing things before type of deal. So there's a lot. I think it'll be soon. I hope it's soon. Exactly. And you know what? A lot of people now, they look back on it. They look back on it fondly now, and they just did not have the capacity to do so at the time, which is unfortunate because that changed the entire trajectory of the DC extended universe in a bad way. Yes, they were. Pierce Brosnan is great as it, and I love the way he looks, dude. Tore him right out of a comic book page, so as I'm concerned. All right, pretty much perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and wind this down because I did not expect this to be what it was. Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. I will see. Wow, there's a lot in here. Oh wow. Okay, hold on. Let me try to get as much as you guys because you took the time to come in here. Yes, I do. Yes, I think that Black Adam will pop up. Not in a post-credit scene because I think the movie's already pretty much ready to go. I think they can add a post-credit scene in there. I think they should. If they haven't, if you're watching right now, Warner Brothers, you should. If he's not in there, he should be. All right, I agree. I think Bird suffered a very bad marketing campaign, and I hope we get it. I do too. Yes, I did. I enjoyed Hawkman. I enjoyed his look. People were complaining. Some people were like, "Oh, if they did it all Iron Man with the whole CGI and the micro suit coming that way formed around him." I'm like, it's 2022, and these guys. Come on, I expect every superhero I see that has armor to do that. We're not going to be putting on and come on, you got to do it quickly. So I'm all right with that. Good point, but it was almost identical at times, like keeping in track with his powers. Yeah. All right. Did you like the Easter egg? The President Prize out meta? Well, yeah. You can tell that this movie was shot before the regime change because he hints on things that he cannot necessarily fulfill. But you kind of you see, even though this is filmed under people who say no to a lot of things, you clearly see that this is what he wants. You can feel the desired plans that The Rock has for his characters going forward, even if he couldn't blatantly say them. And there's enough Easter eggs in there. And then obviously the ultimate Easter egg is at the end. Like I said, 5 seconds of people just cheering. I loved it. Yeah, brutal fun. You do brutal fun. But fun, whatever two words I'm used, fun is going to be part of it. Because I really had I had a good time with this. So have I. Well, and the fact that, remember, they derive their powers from the same people. And these people that are trying to take their powers away, and in a way are trying to take his powers. I mean, because remember, Fear of the Gods, they say a bunch of kids stole the power of the gods. So Black Adam has that very same power of those gods. All right. Do you think Poltergeist needs to be the route of movie? I think Poltergeist needs to be the route of Blumhouse movies. Not Halloween Blumhouse movies, but Invisible Man Blumhouse movie type things. If they do a remake of that one. That's just me. Yes. Yes. Both times. The theater, the other screening from last night was packed. People got turned away, and our 9:00 showing was full. Yeah, dude, we were gonna have a contest about that, but the kills happen so quickly, and there's certain things where you see multiple people that gotta die. I'm gonna have to redo instant replay to see, did that guy make it? And be like, nah, that guy's dead. Yeah, so yeah, we'll probably do a kilometer or something on one of our streams. But yeah, they don't shy away on the killing. If you have a problem with your hero or your anti-hero killing, yeah, okay, you might have a problem with Black Adam, and he states it. When a Hawkman walks up to him, heroes don't kill, and it's just a close-up. But I do, and I loved it. People clapped in that. That was apparently it was given an R rating for us. They took out, yeah. That's why, by the way, Werewolf by Night, it was in black and white because all the blood in Werewolf by Night, all the killing that they had. If you show blood, and that's why the Batman got away with PG-13 because even though the Batman is really crushing people's skulls, there's no blood, and that's how they were able to get away with a lot of that. But I thought they handled it great. Yeah, it was handicapped. I'm surprised that movie even got made. To be honest with you. So would I. That Dr. Fate was one of the most intriguing characters of the thing. I want more of him. Jonathan Majors is going to look amazing. Yeah, dude. Well, he ain't going to be walking around without his shirt off, that's what I prefer. Once again, at least with Jonathan Majors, he's not one of these damn 60-year-olds looking like that while I look like this. At least Jonathan Majors is in his prime. I can be like, all right. If Jonathan Majors was like 59 and looking like that, I have a problem, man. But yeah, he looks amazing. This guy's doing a lot of work lately and got more to come. Hard to, I don't know. You could be right. I didn't see anything in there. When I watch it again, maybe, or when I watch some of the other people's streams, and there are people online that are going to break this movie down by the molecule, and they'll point out all that. And maybe I'll see something there, but I didn't see anything myself personally. But you could be 100% right, Jacob. Yeah, they're not as known because if they're working for Waller, she's got a dirty bag of tricks that's not necessarily above board in the Justice League. Technically, it's not really a sanctioned group, so. But she knows Superman. She called in a favor with Superman. So she's it's kind of like the army where we have our soldiers that are dressed up in uniform and have tanks and planes and we blow things up out in the open, and then we got our special forces people that we claim no responsibility type people. So that's that's probably what it is. Yeah, that's one of the things that I saw that might. All right, Chappie, see you later. I'm about to wrap it up here soon. I just want to make sure I got everybody. This was a Shazam movie in a way I consider it. I do too, and that's good. Maybe it'll scare me because the first Exorcist, while it was a quality film, does not scare me like it scares most people. I'm psyched for Werewolf by Night, getting through Moon Knight first. Yeah, Moon Knight. Moon Knight is. I love Moon Knight. I love Oscar Isaac as well. Joga, Black Adam was fun. The action and visuals were the best parts. The songs felt so out of place. Yeah, I thought that we just could have replaced those with the score because the score was great. Dragons. Okay, let's see. The only reason people didn't like Man of Steel was because Susan was not able to save everyone. He didn't. Superman was not. He didn't save his dad, and he snapped his last neck. Yeah, people just didn't give time to embrace a new Superman and everything that comes with it. So, all right, guys. So thank you for everybody who showed. Thank you for everybody who brought in questions and increased the topics and increased the quality of the stream. That was not supposed to happen. Like I said, this was supposed to be like a 2 or 3 minute thing, telling you what I felt, and then I was going to go to bed. But if you guys came to the party, I'm not leaving the party. Thank you for everybody who stayed up with me at 2:28 in the morning and made the stream better. We will see you later on this evening at 6:30 to go into a much more in-depth discussion about this movie. But like I said, it was supposed to be a straight out of the theater or straight as I got home, 2 or 3 minute thing. It turned into something more special, which is fine. I love that it did that. So I will see you guys later on. We will be back with our normal people. I'm pretty sure Thade will be in the cockpit with me, and we'll have a little bit more fun discussing this movie. So let me get my outro going. Even though, like I said, I planned for no outro for today. All right, guys, thank you, and we will see you at 6:30 tonight.